taken. There's only about 300 million people in the United States, so half of the people have had their data taken. The data consists of everything: name, address, social security number, driver ID number, just about everything. So they have a link that you can click on, which I just did an hour or so ago. That's why if I seem a little bit upset. And you put in your last name and you put in the last 6 digits of your social security number, and they tell you whether you are one of the 143 million people. I am. Then they have a remedy. When you put that information in that they want, it tells you, which it did in my case, okay, you're one of the people who had your data taken, and then if you click on the next link, it tells you okay, and it gives you a date. They gave me a date of next week. On that date, you have to come on that date specifically, not the next day, not the day before, that date. They're not going to send you any email telling you that you're one of the people, They're not going to send you an email reminding you that, hey, today's the day you need to. So when you go there, I haven't gone there yet because they gave me my date for next week. When you go there, from reading these other stories, you have to agree that you're not going to sue them. Never occurred to me to sue them. But when you go there and click, you have to agree that you're not going to sue them, and a bunch of other things. And then they will give you for free their credit monitoring program, access to their credit monitoring program, which I am sure will tell you if someone has gone and checked your credit rating, which the person could do, who has has this data. And I'm sure it would tell you that, see if somebody has accessed your, pull the credit report on you. If a new charge account or something has been opened in your name, information like that. Now, let me go back here. The other thing is, the Equifax executives sold off some stock before this hack was disclosed the other day. That has got to be, if it's a public company, which I'm sure it is, on the New York Stock Exchange, I'm sure, that has got to be, well, let's see. Wikipedia. No, I put TransUnion in that, didn't I? Well, anyway, that has got to be, what do they call that? Anyway, it's got to be, you're not allowed to profit from information like that if you're that insider trading. That has got to be insider trading, which should be against the law. Well, it is against the law. And I think we need a law like China has. Apparently in China, if you commit financial fraud, if you cheat somebody out of, and I forget what the amount of money, it's not very much money. I think it's a few $1,000s, couple $1,000s, something like that. You get the death penalty. And I'm in favor. By the way, I'm opposed, as you all know if you follow my videos, I am opposed to the death penalty. Positively, for numerous reasons, which I have explained, and other people have also come out against the death penalty for those same basic reasons. I'm opposed to the death penalty, except in cases like this. The New York Stock Exchange has that, they ring the bell at the end of day for trading. They ring the bell. And they have a platform way up there. and executives come out. If you're the head of a new company, or a new company was just listed on the New York Stock Exchange, or if you're a major banker or somebody like that, you get to come out and they take your picture, and you get to be seen on TV, because a lot of news stations will be, okay, it's the New York Stock Exchange is closing. We're now switching to the New York Stock Exchange. And they're going to ring the bell. And it's up there like a balcony on the Buckingham Palace, where the royalty comes out and waves to the serfs. I can't do the royal wave. I'm not British enough. Now, occasionally they'll have Sully, the pilot or whatever, who landed the airplane and saved the passengers. They'll have the 7 astronauts or something come out. They'll have people like that. A police officer, or maybe the 9/11 firemen, the ones that survived, some that survived would come out. But if, for PR purposes or whatever. But those people should never they should never set foot on that platform. Everybody else, all those financial executives and all those people who set foot on that platform, we should be taking down their names. When the dictatorship of the proletariat comes, and we've gone as far right as we should in the United States as we should be able to go, when it swings in the other direction, we should have those names of those people. I'm exaggerating. I'm being a little... Please don't report me to the FBI for being a communist. I don't really fucking care. Those people, I've been in favor of the death penalty for not the heroes that go there, and not the firefighters, but for those bankers and those other people. These people are, talk about conspiracy, obstruction of justice, treason. I think that's what all these people are. These stories, they never end. There's cover-ups. TransUnion, couldn't find it. I'm pretty sure it was TransUnion. They're one of the 3, and somebody's probably going to come back and tell me, hey, there's actually 5. I don't know. I've always seen like 3. When you want to get a credit card, when you want to get a credit account with some place, or whatever you want, everything you want to do. You want to rent an apartment. You want to buy a home. Everybody, all the business people, all the people, they use the numbers that they get from TransUnion, Equifax, and the other company. Those are the numbers that are given. And these people have continually commit so many crimes, and if they're not crimes, which they're crimes, but if they're not crimes, they're things that they shouldn't be doing, and they impact us. And these people are and they hold a major power. They can squeeze, if you're a man, they can squeeze your testicles. And they can get away with it. I'm pretty sure it was TransUnion. I was going to try it, I couldn't find, because there were so many things. I did a search for TransUnion to see, pull up the story about, and I'm pretty sure it was them. If it was one of the others, they're all the same kind of cocksuckers. Not that that's a bad thing. So I thought it was TransUnion. Years ago, the federal government found out that, and I think it was TransUnion, they were taking the data that is supposed to be private data, all the data they have collected on people, they were taking that data and they were selling it to companies. If you had enough money and you were in a powerful position or whatever, you could contact them and you could get names, addresses, all kinds of data would be given to you that you could use in some way for advertising purposes, for all types of service. That was against the law. That was a crime. And the federal government, I forget which agency it was, whichever agency it is not powerful enough. Of course, under the Trump administration, all those agencies will be done away with, anything that tries to enforce regulations. And if Trump puts somebody in charge of it, he'll put somebody in charge of it who wants to do away with the agency or do away with all regulation or whatever. We need more regulation. I think we have too many laws, but I don't think we have too many regulations. Houston, I'm in Texas, by the way. Houston has been famous for, and they were happy to put the information out, that Houston had very little rules and regulations about zoning and building standards and all that type of stuff. And they had a housing boom because you could get a house cheaper, a little bit cheaper. You could get an apartment cheaper. All kinds of stuff going on because there was very few regulations, and that was one of Houston's things that they put the word out about. Hey, this is fucking Texas. And not only that, our city here, we don't have regulations, so it's going to be easy to get to buy a house, rent a house, or whatever, because we don't have regulations. You know, a hog factory next door to you, fine. You're in a low flood area, fine, no rules. Or there's a nuclear power plant next door to your kid's school, no regulation. Now, if some up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they started having earthquakes in Texas. And I've only been here for, 5 or 6 or 7 years or something, I forget, in Texas. But people who lived here all their, cowboys who lived here all their lives, families who have lived in, these areas for generations. Earthquakes? I never heard of earthquakes in Texas. Earthquakes in Texas? But they were getting earthquakes stone's throw from here. I think I felt one day. I think I blogged about it. Just one, though. But on the other side of town, not Fort Worth, but, I forget the area, they were having them all the time, several a day. People couldn't fucking believe it. It was like they didn't need a rocking chair. They could just sit on their couch or in the kitchen on the stool and get rocked. And, of course, fracking had started. They would, open up a hole in the ground and pressure shoot tons of water into the ground with chemicals in the water, which they wouldn't tell you what the chemicals were. But they said, don't worry, just harmless chemicals that are going into your groundwater. And then the earthquake started, and people who had lived here, Texans, all their lives, said, what in the fuck is going on with these earthquakes? It's got to be because of this oil fracking. And so one or two towns, especially one town, they passed a city ordinance in the town saying, okay, no more fracking in the city limits of, our small town here. You just can't do any fracking in the city. And then another town was going to do, was going to pass the same thing.